that now it's time to get into our presentation and introduce Jackie Welch, who is our presenter tonight. And I'd like to read a little bit about her expertise and her bio. Jackie Belzer Welch is the president of the TIRO Life Coaching, LLC. And TIRO stands for, and I just learned this, Jackie, time is running out. Specializing in talent development in the following areas: soft skills, which are collaboration and leadership, organizational workshops, staff assessment tools, predictive index for hiring, onboarding, succession planning. That's critical. In addition, she is also a certified coach, facilitator, and trainer, receiving her credentials from CTI, Coaches Training Institute. Jackie is a member of the ICF, International Coaching Federation, and has also completed her required studies in learning and development in the area of instructional design and delivery. Jackie's extensive leadership background of 28 years in the corporate world with Xerox allows her to transfer knowledge and teachable moments as an extended business partner, workshop facilitator, trainer, and guest speaker. That's why she's here tonight. In addition, she has been recently recognized as the 2020 Class of Silicon Valley's 100 Most Influential Women, sponsored by the Silicon Valley Business Journal. Very humbled and honored to receive this award. However, for those that know her, this award comes as no surprise based on her commitment to service and the many organizations she supports, including board member for Bach Bay Area Community Health, Ohlone College Leadership Academy, AMA, which stands for the American Management Association, Valley Water District, and AACSA, just to name a few. As a lifelong learner, Jackie was recently selected from a very competitive landscape of candidates to the Goldman Sachs Spring 2023 cohort of OMBW, 1 Million Black Women. As a longtime resident of Fremont, Jackie is also community leader, being recognized for her service as one of the past recipients of the Community Shiro Award given by Assemblyman Kansen Chu. Graduate of Leadership Fremont, sponsored by the Fremont Chamber of Commerce, certified small business owner, active member in Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Rho Delta Omega Chapter, ABWA Pathfinder Chapter, and the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. That's like a mouthful. Her message allows others to move forward, being more intentional each day and to live life with a purpose. And her tagline here is, remember, in order to grow personally and professionally, sometimes that requires change, uppercase, CHANGE. Jackie, would you like to take it away?
Okay, very good. Well, good evening, everyone. I am now going to do an official transition, and we are going to do a screen share, making sure that you're able to see the information for tonight. How was that? Everybody's good?
Good.
Excellent. I'm going to put this now on the full view, and we're going to get ready to jump right into our message for this evening, which is all about time management. Listening to all of the many different things that everyone is involved in, I love that idea about an extra hour, okay? And so for me, I think I'm going to join you, Kathy, in the area of reading, in addition to also self-care. Self-care sometimes can just simply mean doing nothing. And I think that's an area where sometimes we simply have to give ourselves permission, right? It is okay. So as part of our time here together this evening, and I know I'm probably looking at about a good 45 minutes now, we're going to do our best to make sure that we really do cover some of what I like to call some of those really key nuggets. And everything that I am going to share with you tonight, these are things that I live by. This is not someone that's giving you information just kind of out of a book. This is truly things that I absolutely live by, tried, tested. So I am giving you real, authentic information. Couple of things that I really want to make sure out of our time together this evening is that I really do feel that we're in a society today where we've got to go back to really valuing time. Time is important. For me, time is our greatest resource, because when we give that time away, we can never get it back. The next one is also being able to look at creating a shift regarding our behavior of being busy. When I connect with people, everybody is so busy. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But my mind shift is not about being busy. It's about what did I get done today? At the end of every day, I ask myself, Jackie, what did you accomplish today? And that's a very, very different question regarding simply thriving on being busy. So for me, my word regarding time management, it's about being intentional. There's a lot of things that pull at you every day, but when you are intentional and when you set those daily goals, you're able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the night and you're simply able to answer that question. What did I accomplish today? Being able to look at applying some of those tips in terms of being able to set those goals, like I mentioned, staying true to your to-do list, and then most of all, being able to reflect upon, wow, what are maybe some of the things from this simple workshop that I really can do differently, being able to put some new tools in my toolkit each day. So with that, until you can manage time, you really cannot manage anything else because it's really like the reflection of the domino. Once that domino hits, it's just what? One after the other. So when you begin to think about when your feet hit the floor, you're running, right? And so when you begin to think about that, time management is really more than just managing our time. It's really about managing ourselves in relationship to time. So if you recall, Desiree indicated if she had that extra hour, she would unplug. She would get off of social media. So when you begin to think about, it's not just about the time, it's about you having great self-management regarding the time. Because one thing is true, we're never going to get more than 24 hours in a day. And I hear people say that all the time. Oh, if I just had more time, Jackie. Oh, if I just had more time. And you know what I tell them? You're never going to get more than 24 hours in a day. So it's not a matter of you needing more time. The real question is, what am I doing with the time that I have? That's really where the secret sauce lies. What am I really doing with the time that I have? We've got to do a better job of holding ourselves accountable. And most of all, you heard me say earlier about the space of being intentional. So when you begin to think about so much I feel that really makes me successful regarding my time management, it's really about my habits. People don't understand those simple habits that you build into your daily routine are so important because two things shows up every day. Either you run the day or the day runs you. That's it. Either you run the day or the day runs you. There are some fundamental habits that I have built into my daily routine. Number one, I'm from the old school. I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm from a family of 4 girls. And from the youngest to the oldest was only 6 years. So we were very close in age, very stair-stepped. And my mother, extremely organized, all going back to habits. And she would often say, you need to really make the night your friend. And we would say, Mom, what do you really mean by that? It's so many things that you can do at night to ensure that you have a good start to your day the very next day. One of those things that I built into my daily routine regarding habits is I get my gas at night. And people say, oh, Jackie, that's so basic. How many times have you pulled into your garage? You said, oh, I'm going to get my gas in the morning. And the next thing you know, you're ready, you're walking out the door, you already know that you're somewhat running late. And then you say, oh my goodness, I forgot to get gas last night. And there you are in the lineup with 7 other people that had the same bright idea. I'll get my gas in the morning. And what's happening now? Your stress is building up. You know that you're going to be late. You know that you're going to be late now. Fundamental habit. I get my gas at night.
Yeah.
The second one that I also built into my routine is I get my clothes out at night. Everything that I need for the next day is done at night. I never waste any time in the morning looking for things. I can't begin to tell you when I was working in the corporate world, how many people would show up late for meetings because of one or two things. They either stopped to get gas or they went to the closet. They thought that they could just show up with this lovely outfit and completely forgot that what? I don't like the way it looks. I've gained some weight. The outfit has a stain on it. I'm looking for the black shoe. All of these little things that we have the ability to do at night. So time management also is about proper planning. You have to work on planning to have a successful day because once again, either you run the day or the day runs you. So how many people have any idea what this number means? Take a stab at it. Take yourself off of mute. What do you think this number means?
It's here, but it's not here. Oh, it rings a bell, but I don't know.
Okay. This is a very, very safe space. No judgment here. Just take a stab. What do you think that number means?
How old I wish I still was.
Oh, that is so sweet. I love that, Linda. I love that. Anyone else? What do you think this number means?
Well, there is this is from a science fiction novel that 42 is the answer is 42. So it's
that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, because I am a planner, not to add any stress to your life, but I want to let you know that there's 46 days remaining before the big day. That's right.
To what? To Christmas?
That's right.
To Christmas or New Year's?
No, Christmas.
46.
46 days.
So I need 2 hours a day of knitting to catch up.
Okay.
I bet you already got your Christmas pictures done.
So you see, this is what I'm talking about. Proper planning eliminates the stress. And I am here to tell you, if you get your calendar out and you count, you all have 46 days before the big day. Not to create any stress in your life. I'm just here to give you the facts, okay? Because I often say that when we have information and when we have facts, when you know better, what happens? We do better, right? So 46 days. And so with that, thinking about habits, you'll never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. You will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. And that is one of the things that I'm so thankful for now that I am this adult, that my mother did a phenomenal job in giving us structure and giving us discipline. So in order for you also to really be very
You want me to get that light for you?
efficient in time management, sometimes that also means that you have to be able to have a little bit of structure and a little bit of discipline and high commitment in making sure that you stay with those things and bring them to closure. So what I'd like to do now, and that is I like to really get your engagement, because as we've been talking about habits, we're going to start off now with just open conversation, open mic regarding some of those bad habits. What are some of those bad habits that you feel are really kind of getting in the way of you being a little bit more efficient regarding time management? No judgment, okay? Safe space. What do you feel are some of those bad habits? We all have them. What do you think they are?
Checking social media too often.
Okay, thank you for being honest, right? Social media, huge distraction, right? What else?
I plan to do probably too many things.
Okay, thank you for that, Julie. You're like almost overcommitting, right? Overcommitting.
I think mine is being addicted to the telephone, whether it's email or texting or social media, and it's a big distraction. It's
Yes.
a huge distraction.
Greatest time robber ever.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Who's next? Let's talk about some of the bad habits. What's showing up for you?
I think I always think that I'll have more time to do something. Like, oh,
Mm.
I'll do it in half an hour, and then I don't get to it. So
Okay.
it's
And
kind of
so
like
what?
procrastinate. It's not really procrastination, but
Well,
it kinda is,
actually, actually, it could be a little bit of procrastination, Linda. Thank you so much for saying that dirty P word, procrastination. And then sometimes people also underestimate. They
Mhm.
underestimate in terms of the proper planning. In terms of it could be a project or even driving sometimes, right? You're like, oh my goodness, I totally underestimated. I didn't think it was going to be nearly as much traffic. So you got to build in a little bit of the proper planning. So now that we recognize some of those things that are truly robbing us of having good time management regarding those bad habits, let's talk about maybe some of the good habits. What do you feel you're doing good? What do you feel you're doing well? The good habits.
I'm a list maker.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
me
Where's
too.
my list people at? Who said that?
Oh,
Julie?
me too. Me too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love
I got
those
check off
lists.
lists. I got the highlighting and the priorities. I got a star for priorities, and I got a check mark if it's got done off. And I think another thing that I do well is I manage my calendar. Although the phone can be a distraction, I put everything on the calendar because that way I know that I don't have to think about it, right? I could be thinking about something else.
Love that.
I
What
put
do you-
everything on the to-do list so that I get the pleasure of checking it off.
I love those little rewards, right? We need that. That is absolutely psychological, and we need that because it makes us feel good, right? That motivates us. Nothing makes you feel better than it's 12 noon and you look at that list and you're like, I'm on fire today, right? I am just checking them off one after the other. Yes. What else shows up regarding some of those good habits?
I think one that I have that I think is good is that I try to batch my errands. So like I went out, I'm going out to do errands, and I can go to like 4 or 5, I've set it up so I have a path to go around town and do 4 or 5 places and be home pretty quickly, as opposed to going out for one thing and coming back.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely. You
I do
plan
that too,
ahead.
Tina. I
Yes,
do that
yes.
too, Tina. I try to get everything done in one fell swoop than to have to come back and like, oh, I forgot something and have to go back out.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's where the list comes in. When you have those great lists, I make grocery lists. I make all my little lists.
Yeah, and it's also about the planning too, right? You got to plan those things. Okay, I see Kathy. What else shows up? I saw your hand up, Kathy.
Yeah, so my trick I've learned when I have a heavy schedule, heavy events, whatever, and I lay my head down on my pillow and I find myself an hour later going, "Dzz," I have that pad next to my bed and I put the information in my head on that pad, and then I'm able to rest for the rest of the night because I know in the morning I will see that list and I will take care of that list and I can stop processing it and I can rest so I can properly perform the next day.
Yeah, love that. So one of the things that I have also built into my routine is what I call the pat down. Okay. And so my family laughs, but I tell you, if you embrace this, it will save you a lot of time because there is nothing like people having to turn back around because they forgot something, right? Oh, I see your face, Kathy. I see your face. And so that's why I call it the pat down. You have to physically touch the item. There's no assuming that you have it. If it's your phone, if it's the charger, if it's, those little small things that you need, you can literally sit in the car and you can touch them. because that simple 5 minutes can save you 15 minutes later of having to now come all the way back to your home because you forgot something. Okay? 5 minutes physically doing the pat down. So that has really, really saved me and saved my family. I can't even begin to tell you a lot of time having to come back home because you thought you had something. Oh, I assumed I had it, right? Nope, you have to physically touch it. The pat down.
And sometimes the simplest thing with that could be your name badge for the organization you're representing, because that is a professional thing to have with you.
That's
And
right.
to not have that is a huge miss. So
Yeah.
that's great. I love that. I love that tip.
Yep, absolutely. You got to physically touch it. You got to do the pat down. Okay. So thank you so much for participating in that. So you're doing a great job because I'm sharing with you now some of the top 10 common time management mistakes that people make when it comes to time management. Failing to keep a to-do list. Not this group. Everybody talked about their list. You were energized about it. The next one is about really not being able to even sometimes set those personal goals, okay? Personal goals, and most of all, staying with them. The next one, not prioritizing. People are all over the board, right? All over the board. And what happens when you don't prioritize is that I like to say we go to doing the things that we like. It can be the lowest priority on the list. Lowest priority, and you've got the big fire that you know you need to put out. But it's very easy to go to the low-hanging fruit because we're probably thinking about that's what I like to do. So when you begin to think about prioritizing, you also need to make sure that you're prioritizing those things that you know you must move today. They're what I call the non-negotiables. I've got to get this done today. It's non-negotiable. The next one is about managing those distractions. And we did a really good job of naming those, right? The social media, the phone, the email. It's very easy also to get lost in email. You really think that you're really doing something, and you can be in email all day, just replying back to stuff. And then you look at your list and you look at your priorities. You're like, oh my goodness, half my day is gone in email. So that's what I mean about being intentional. The next one is that P word again, that dirty P word of procrastination. My mother would always say, never put off for tomorrow what can be done today. And so for me, I've never really lived in this space of procrastination because I'm a doer, right? I'm a doer. And so oftentimes procrastination can also be another big robber of your time because you're simply putting this off for one reason and one reason only. You don't want to do it. Okay? And I can tell you it's never going to get done until you absolutely touch it. That's why Nike's made so much money on that simple phrase. Just do it, right? Just do it. The next one goes back to what Julie said, taking on too much, right? Taking on too much. Most of all, thriving on just being busy versus thriving on results. Multitasking. We live in that space, right? Nobody ever does one thing anymore. The next one is also, especially in this world right now regarding the pandemic and being a remote worker, not taking breaks. Sometimes it is healthy for us to be able to take a break. And I feel those breaks are important because you need the time of reflection. I used to love when I worked in the office, and you can always see people about 10 o'clock. They would go and they would take a break. They walk around the building. Those were times of reflection to be able to say, okay, this is what I've been able to accomplish this morning. This is what I still maybe want to get done before my lunch hour. So being able to take those breaks is just as important. Another one is also ineffective scheduling. And I think that it may have been, let me see, I think it was Linda. Linda talked about sometimes really kind of underestimating how long something could actually take. So that's just as important as well. And it can really have a huge impact on your time management, increase your stress level because we did not schedule appropriately. So when you begin to think about time, You see, time is actually more valuable than money. You can always get more money, but you cannot get more time. And that's why I really feel that our society have really lost the value of time. My family will tell you, I will not go to the Cheesecake Factory because I'm not going to give somebody 45 minutes or an hour of my time just to eat. I'm not going to do that. And most of all, that restaurant does not accept reservations. My time is worth something. My time is just that valuable to me. I have absolutely also decided not to go to certain salons anymore, because even though you may have an appointment, I am not going to allow someone to tie up my entire Saturday because they are inefficient. They did not do proper scheduling. And the next thing you know, you've wasted an entire day just at the hair salon. I'm not doing that. That's the reason why I make appointments. So when you begin to think about those 46 days, right? Those 46 days that are in front of us, I want to also be able to share with you some of those holiday strategies, right? Number one, you got to start early. Here we are, 46 days in front of us. I'm going to tell you right now, if you came to my house, I absolutely have my living room with my holiday decorations up. Yes, my staircase is already wrapped in garland. My fireplace already has the lights on it. I probably have about maybe 5 Saturdays left here in the Bay Area before I leave for the holidays. So I am once again very intentional about my time. When I was working outside of what I do now, I used to always have my landmark as Veterans Day, because Veteran Day was pretty much like that long holiday weekend. And then if you begin to look at the calendar, you're only talking about 10 days before Thanksgiving, once Veteran Day arrives. And Veterans Day, oh, by the way, is this coming Friday. So this is just to give you an idea of just how fast time is moving. The next one that I also live by is calendar blocking. How many of you have heard of calendar blocking? Calendar blocking is extremely powerful, especially for those of you where people have access to your calendar and maybe you're in a work environment, right? Calendar blocking. The benefit about calendar blocking is that you get a chance to put a block on your calendar and you say from 9 until 11 o'clock, this is my personal time and this is what I am focused on. So if you need to return phone calls, if you need to work on a project, if you need to send out emails, you have that designated time where you put a block on your calendar and you've got to commit. You have to commit to getting this done. Okay. So I used to live by that, especially when people would have access to my calendar. They would want to pull me into a meeting. And you know what I used to tell them? I would say, what's going to be my role in this meeting? And they would say, well, Jackie, Jim thought it would be a good idea for you to attend the meeting. And I would say, if you cannot clearly tell me what my role is going to be regarding this meeting, I'm going to have to pass. And so go ahead, have the meeting, and then come back and give me a debrief. And then once you do the debrief, we can make some decisions moving forward if I really do need to be a part of this meeting and a part of this team. And I can tell you, 9 times out of 10, people could not give me a clear message regarding what my role was going to be. Because I want you to think about this. You have decided to block out this time for a reason, right? And once you give up that time, you can never get it back. And I can tell you, there's been a lot of times when people would walk out of a meeting and what do you think they would say? This was a total waste of my time. I cannot believe that I sat in that meeting for 1 hour, total waste of my time. So you've got to do a little bit better job of guarding your time. The next one is about making a list. You're very, very good at that. We identified that as a really good habit. The next one is about planning ahead. Tina talked about how she likes to group her errands, right? That's about planning ahead. I gave you the example about me getting my gas at night. That's planning ahead. I gave you the example about organizing my night. If you have to make lunches at night for people, why are we getting up in the morning doing that? You can make the lunch at night. It's so many little things that we have the ability to do at night to make sure that our day starts off very good on the right foot in the morning. The next one is saying no. How many of you are working on that muscle, right? Yeah, buddy. As we like to say, no is a complete sentence. So sometimes we struggle with no because we don't want to disappoint anybody. You heard my bio. I'm just as busy as everyone else. But there comes a time when you have to look at your calendar, you have to look at your life, and you've got to give yourself permission. That's what it's about. You got to give yourself permission. Nobody knows what you're working on. Nobody knows how busy you are. You've got to give yourself permission to be able to say, you know what? I would love to help you. I would love to be able to be on your committee. But right now, I've got competing priorities. I cannot lead this particular committee, but I can still maybe be a part of it, right? I can still be a part of it, but I cannot take the leading role. The next one is the space of delegating. How many of you are good delegators? Whoa, okay. What's the secret, Kathy? Talk to us. What's the secret?
Well, part of it is realizing you can't do it all. And then when you have friends like Linda who remind me, Kathy, ask for help. And so when you have a good team in place with your different nonprofits, you can support each other in that way. And I think team support is really super important.
Yeah.
Good reminders.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Delegating.
One reason that I try to delegate is because there are so many things I don't want to keep doing that I do, but I don't want to keep doing them. So I try to find somebody else who I can teach how to do that and say, okay, now that's your thing. So I'm not stuck doing the same things, all the same things over and over again that I don't really like.
I think I can
Please
piggyback
go
off of
ahead.
that.
Mhm.
I can piggyback off of that. I think that I like to delegate because I like to have let other people grow, right? And the moment that I can help them grow into leadership roles or help them develop in various areas, relieves me of having to do it. But I really enjoy helping people grow, sort of like a mentorship kind of thing for me.
And you know what? I think that is so important. You said it right there. When you're in the space of delegating, I also think what is just as important is your approach. Okay? Making sure people understand that you're not just trying to pass off work to them. So being able to have that conversation and say, you know what? I just came across a wonderful opportunity. And I would really like to be able to work with you on this opportunity. Because as I look at some of the things that I know your skill set is really, really good at, I think this could really be a wonderful growth opportunity for you. So I think it's just as important that you get a chance to share with that individual why they're being selected for the project so that they don't think that you're just trying to pawn off work on them. Okay? It's always about growing the next person. Growth is very important. And you're right, Linda. Until you start delegating, you're absolutely correct. You will have that project for the rest of your life. Absolutely. So the next one is about asking for help. And Kathy did a really good job in setting us up for that one, right? Sometimes as leaders and sometimes as busy people, we really do struggle with asking for help. Okay? And I know in 2024, I'm going to be taking on a new role for an organization. And I'm already saying, Jackie, you have many hands. And as I used to tell my team all the time, we do a lot of things, but we don't read minds. And you have people and you have resources. And I think sometimes as individuals, we begin to think that there's weakness in the word help. And I can tell you that the people that are smart, the people who really get it, they have no problem in raising their hand and asking for help. So I think for me personally, that's a mind shift. That's a mind shift that I've had to really grow into and be comfortable with letting people know that I'm at capacity, right? I'm at capacity and it's okay to ask for help. And the next one is being able also to identify, hopefully, some good habits and being able to really focus in on establishing a really solid routine for yourself. So going back now to your list and knowing that you have 46 days to really get it all together, I want you now to begin to think about what is one thing every day that is holiday related that I can now add to my list. So the next thing you know, it doesn't start stacking up on you, right? We can go online and shop at any time. You can ask that person, what is it that you may want for the holidays? It's so many little things that we can begin to do right now, adding that one thing to your list. That's just about really the day after Halloween. I went and pulled out those things that I knew that I wanted to start my inside decoration on. That was one thing, just pulling down the decoration. Then the next thing was finding the day that I was going to do the staircase, finding that day I was going to do my living room. Just one thing a day will minimize your stress. Okay. Going back to planning ahead. The next one was, you heard that word procrastination. How many of you, being honest, feel that you also have a little bit of procrastination in you? Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your honesty. Yeah. And so what shows up? What shows up or what holds you back from actually doing it versus procrastinating over it?
I don't want to do it.
Right?
I've said that I would, somebody will say, oh, could you do this for me? Or can you take on this task? And I'm trying to be helpful and trying to be a nice person to say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I go, I'll do it later. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And the worst one is I am the secretary of Fremont Education Foundation, and I procrastinate typing up the minutes. I take great minutes while I'm running, and then I think, oh, I'll do those tomorrow. And the next thing you know, it's been a week, and then I'm like, okay, now I got to read those things and remember what I said. Oh, I'll wait till later. I don't have the brain power for it, and I talk myself out of doing it. It's terrible.
It's and terrible. You know what? It's really interesting because I want to test my understanding on something. When you said, I take really good minutes. And so I want to validate your process. Are you taking notes, paper, shorthand, something of that nature?
Yes, I take the agenda and I write on the agenda what the motions were that matched the things on the agenda. So I remember what order things are. And then I have a separate piece of paper that I will write additional comments on that tie to those agenda items.
And so, Linda, the reason that I ask you that is because I would like to offer you a process improvement.
Okay.
The process improvement is Linda moves away from the paper, and you literally have your computer right there and you are typing real time your information. And when you do that, guess what? There's no more looking back on when I need to get the minutes because you're doing them real time.
Yeah, I agree with you that is true. My fear is that then I will be disengaged from the meeting and I'll be so concentrating on typing up the minutes that I won't be participating in the conversations or in the processes. But yeah, I think you're right that that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And so I completely hear you in terms of you've got a system now, right? You got a system and you're comfortable, because if you really stop and think about it, Linda, you're still doing a function,
Right.
because you're writing. The only difference is you're taking your writing now to another device.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree.
you still have a function there. Okay. So like I said, this is how we grow. We have to try new things. We have to stretch ourselves, right? And so, because really in my mind, you're doing duplicate work. You're writing over here, and then you got to turn around and you got to type it up now. You're
No,
doing duplication of effort.
100%. You're right. You're right.
Okay. So
Okay.
thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being transparent on that.
But
Anyone else?
But you know what people say? I do that too, Linda. I do a lot of handwriting of things, and then I go back and type it up. When I don't procrastinate about typing it up, and I'm not fearful of that. But what I discovered is that when I do my eye-hand coordination, I have better retention. I don't have as much retention if I'm typing, because then I have to listen to somebody and type. But I can listen and write and hear better when I can write. I can't do it. I don't feel, maybe I could, but I don't feel like I can. And studies have shown that the dexterity of the writing and the listening is better than the typing and the listening. And some people are just better at that.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that, Desiree. And I think a lot of it goes back to just even being students, right? This is what we grew up with in terms of taking notes, listening to our instructor, listening to our professors, and we were the students there taking the notes. So I completely agree regarding the better retention, better hand-eye coordination. Yes, Julie, please share.
One of the things that we've learned because of the pandemic and going to Zoom is we can record our meetings. And Linda, we don't have a secretary now. It's our positions open at Fremont Cultural Arts Council. So our meeting minutes are the recordings, and they get filed on our cloud storage. And if anybody wants to refer back to it, it's available to them. And if we feel we want it, and that way, if I don't remember something because I run the meetings, I can go back and look at that. And then I do my own agenda with my own notes, and I might save that in my own personal files. So I don't know if that would work for you, but that's what we've had to do. And you can always use a recording on your phone, although you certainly want to tell people you're recording. Desiree, I know that doesn't work for governmental meetings always.
No,
use technology, and some technology actually will do audio to text. It's kind of funky, but you could actually create a written document on it.
Wow. I love that best practice sharing. Thank you so much for that, Julie, because you're right. Once you get that recording, and now Zoom even allows you to record to the cloud. Okay. And that is super powerful. When you're done, you just simply get a link. Okay, you set up your Zoom meeting. You can say, I want to record this to the cloud. And when you're done with your meeting, you will get a link in less than 10 minutes. And you can send that out to your members. Yes, Kathy.
Okay, so I just want to do a time check, actually.
Yes.
So it is 6:56. We have 4 minutes left. We have covered some great material. You've got your timer on, of course you do. But and I will also want to leave a lot of time for in case there are any last minute questions from the people in who are attending here. So continue, carry on.
Very good. So thank you so much for that. And like I said, I think you are doing a phenomenal job. I think it's so important every day to have your list, know your mission each day, and most of all, continue to be intentional. So with that, I want to leave it open for Q&A and any other maybe closing comments from Kathy. Any closing comments?
I think we had a late arrival here, Vera from Music for Minors too, and I didn't know if she had anything to ask, and I see that Desiree has a hand raised. So let's carry on, Desiree. Unless that was an old hand raise.
Oh, I was just thinking you asked for Vera first, so I thought she might want to say something. I just wanted to piggyback off of what I think I heard Julie say in terms of being able to right hand things and record, but no, of course it would not work for our government meetings and school board and city council, and that's another reason why I have learned to do handwritten notes. For the last several years in these big meetings like this, we can't get on our computers and type. You
Right.
can't get on your phones, you can't, all of this stuff you can't do. And in order to be able to retain what you're hearing, other than going back and looking at the meeting, you either take your own personal notes, and then you have people who are coming up and talking about, whatever, crash in the street or whatever. So you always want to be able to let people know that they were heard. So that's why I always take handwritten notes, and it's just become a habit over the last 10 years.
Right. Wonderful.
Excellent.
Vera, did you have anything you'd like to add or ask?
No, I was just going to say about procrastination. I don't procrastinate so much about work. It's more like the household stuff that you have to do, like the chores that we do, like dusting and the boring things that have to be done. But about taking minutes and things, I think I usually take the minutes on the computer, but I agree, sometimes you do get, you can't join in the conversation so much if you're taking the minutes and trying to take part. So sometimes I will write it by hand or go back to my minutes afterwards and review, because then they're just kind of rough notes. Definitely having a good list of what you're going to do every day is definitely a good thing.
Yes. Yes. So thank you so
Jackie.
much for that, Vera, because once again, I remind people it's okay to do your list, but you got to make sure that you commit to the list. Okay. You got to commit to the list, which is about what? Being intentional, getting away from being busy, and being able to ask yourself at the end of each day, what did I accomplish today? You can do all things with good time management.
Very nice. Well, I think that I'm not seeing any other hands raised. And I think at this point in time, we're finishing right on time. And Jackie, I knew you were going to be pertinent. I knew you were going to be just on task, and you just were fabulous. And I'm really going to push this recording to share with folks, because this was so pertinent for everyone, no matter what they're doing. And I really appreciate your time tonight, sharing this information, these reminders, and maybe new tips for us, but great reminders for all of us here who are so busy and do so much for our community. We can't thank you enough.
Thank you for the opportunity. Wishing everybody a wonderful and safe holiday season. Thank you so much, Kathy, for the invite.
Let me just say before we close, let me just say that we are not going to have a presentation in December, because the second Wednesday is the night of the Fremont Chamber of Commerce Mixer. So we're competing with other holiday things. And we won't share too much, but Kathy, Tina, and I are working on something special to start the new year off with in late January. It'll be a different format and something new for us.
Yep. Another in-person event. Zoom is great. We really accomplished a lot tonight. We really had some honest conversation tonight, and that was great. Some very candid conversation, but there's another level when you're in person. So we're going to have an in-person event. It'll be, I think, we're formulating our second annual event. The first one was our parade after party, which was after the 4th of July parade, getting all the nonprofits in the plaza at the Fremont Downtown Event Center, greeting the public, working together, not in competition, but bringing all that we do to the public. And then this next one will be a public event where we can do a little bit of networking with all the nonprofits that we are in the community with, and we're strengthening our partnership. So look forward to more information on that.
Very good. Well, if nothing else, I know for sure I'll see many of you next month at the Chamber Mixer.
Yes, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah. Don't forget to bring your toy or gift card
Absolutely.
unwrapped.
Yep.
Yes.
Will do. Okay, everyone, have a fabulous Thanksgiving and holidays, and we will see you again all very soon.
Thank you
This is-
so
this-
much for
this-
inviting me. Please keep me on the list for next ones as well. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
making the time.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Okay.
This was super great, Jackie.
Everyone,
Thank
happy
you.
Very helpful.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you for that. And remember, my business name is TIRO, and that stands for what? Time is
Time is
running out.
running out. Okay. Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Mhm. Okay. Bye-bye.